I used to believe something was wrong with me, because no matter what I achieved, the feeling never lasted. My name is Walter, and I am 81 years old, and for most of my life, I carried a quiet confusion about why satisfaction always seemed just out of reach. When I was younger, I thought contentment was a destination you arrived at after enough effort. So I kept moving, changing jobs, chasing promotions, buying bigger things, telling myself that the next milestone would finally calm that restlessness inside me. For a while, it worked, or at least it distracted me, because accomplishment has a way of making you feel justified, as if your unease must be temporary and therefore not worth questioning too deeply. I grew up in a time when you did not talk much about feelings. You proved your worth by providing, by staying busy, by not complaining, and I did all of that very well. I married young, raised children, paid the bills, showed up where I was expected, and from the outside, my life looked solid and respectable. Yet there was always a sense that I was slightly behind myself, like I was living a life that made sense on paper, but did not quite belong to me. I remember sitting at the dinner table after long days at work, listening to my children talk, nodding at the right moments, already thinking about tomorrow, about what needed to be fixed or improved or earned next. And I mistook that constant planning for responsibility rather than what it really was, which was avoidance. I was avoiding the quiet moments because in stillness, I could feel that something essential was missing, and I did not know how to name it. As the years passed, I achieved the things I had set out to achieve, and each time I reached one of those goals, the satisfaction arrived briefly and then slipped away again, leaving me more puzzled than before. I blamed myself. I told myself I was ungrateful or too demanding, and I doubled down, convinced that the solution was simply more effort, more discipline, more forward motion. What I did not understand then is that I was using success as a substitute for meaning. And success is very good at keeping you occupied, but very poor at making you feel whole. I was measuring my life in outcomes instead of experiences, and outcomes always end the moment you reach them. It was not one dramatic moment that changed my understanding. It was a slow accumulation of small losses. Children growing up and needing me less, colleagues retiring or passing away, routines falling apart when my body could no longer keep pace with my ambitions. When the structure I had built my identity around began to loosen, I finally had to sit with myself without the usual noise. In those quieter years, I noticed something unsettling. The moments I remembered most clearly were not the victories I once chased, but the ordinary days I had rushed through, the conversations I half listened to, the evenings I spent distracted instead of present. I realized that my dissatisfaction had never been about wanting more. It was about not being where I already was. I had lived as if life were something to complete, rather than something to inhabit. And that difference seems small until you reach an age where there are more memories behind you than plans ahead of you. Only then does the cost of constant striving become visible. What finally settled in me was the understanding that satisfaction does not come from adding things to your life. It comes from allowing yourself to fully experience what is already there. I had been waiting for life to give me permission to slow down, when in truth, that permission was always mine to grant. If I could speak to my younger self, I would not tell him to abandon his ambitions. I would tell him to stop postponing his presence. I would tell him that love does not wait patiently forever,
that moments are not renewable, and that being needed is not the same as being known. Now, at 81, I find a deeper peace in small, quiet things, in unhurried conversations, in watching the light change through the window, in listening without needing to fix or improve anything. The satisfaction I spent decades searching for arrived only when I stopped asking my life to prove its worth and started accepting it as it was. If you are listening to this and you feel that same restlessness I carried for so long, I will not tell you what to do, but I will ask you to notice where your attention goes when nothing is demanding it, because that is often where your life has been waiting for you all along.